Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. If you follow me a bit and you watch these on a regular basis, you may notice I'm in a different space than usual. I am on a journey of supporting my parents as they make a move after 30 some odd years to a new home. So I am looking forward to playing with contact paper and opening boxes later. But in the meantime, I wanted to hop in and continue our exploration of all things Pisces energy. And this week in particular is some really, really powerful astrology, which I will write something later as I don't want to go too far left field on that at the moment. But it is a powerful opportunity to really align your next steps with your heart's wisdom. As I mentioned earlier in previous videos when we were talking about this particular cycle, this first half up until our full moon next week is really about dropping in and really connecting with your intuitive guidance and letting that set the stage for your next steps. So what does that look like? What I know, and I've been talking to a number of folks this week. I did some interviewing of people for some possible support in co-creating some assets with me. And it really did remind me of the power of both sides of our business minds, our heart mind, that intuitive guidance, our inner wisdom, and our thinking brain, and how we can really work with both. So, as we have this amazing opportunity right now, as we close out the astrological year in Pisces season to redesign, re engineer, refocus our business and align it with our heart mind, our intuition is really heightened. And can we tap into it? But can we trust it? I hear that often from folks, and I know for myself that it's always a journey of reminding myself that I can trust it. I get shown often when I ignore my intuition. The told you so. I think it's really humorous. The I told you so's. But I wanted to share with you a process that I use to tune in and decide what's guidance and what might be ego, where my thinking brain may be getting in the way, and where I maybe we don't honor our inner wisdom as much as we can. So step one for me is to really be present, be aware, I think right now, especially, our nervous systems are so activated. There is so much information coming in, so much energy moving. And so being grounded, being connected to our breath, being present. So that first step for me is just slowing things down, just allowing myself to connect with me, and so that I can really tune in and tap in. So whatever that process is for you, that's always the first step. And even as I'm going to use my experience this week as a little bit of a guide for how I worked with this process. So as I did these, I had 3 different meetings that for the same project that I was exploring with some folks for support. And I really was present to wanting to allow my intuition to guide me and stay open to possible. So I did that practice before I got on these calls, tapped in, tuned in, so I could really be present and listen. And then the second piece for me is always paying attention to that instinctive reaction and deciding if it is this brain or this brain. So it was 3 very different people with 3 very different energies, and they were back to back to back with a little bit of time in between. And so it was so profound on some level, like the way I was responding and the way I was experiencing each person. I knew by the time I had finished the second of the third call which direction I was headed on some level, because the intuitive guidance, my leaning in was so powerful. But at each point, I was tuning into the energy, tuning into what that feeling was. Am I leaning in or leaning out? That for me is the number two thing, is paying attention energetically, like literally, am I leaning in? Am I wanting to hear more? Am I lit up by this experience, by this idea? Whether it's an experience, a person, or an idea, we can really tune in to how we're responding physically, what's happening in our energy. And sometimes that lift of energy can be a little bit of nervous energy, and it can also be that positive energy. Either one is a signal that there's something here in my experience. So, and then the third step for me is, even though I could have told you in that moment that number 2 out of 3 was the person for me, to co-create on this, I waited. I really allowed myself to sit with it. I allowed myself a full 24 hours. And after receiving each one of their proposals, again, I tuned in. How were they communicating with me? What did that process look like? And I kept getting affirmations that person number 2 was the person. She used my language in her reply. I could tell that she really heard me, that she was really excited about the project. She was really tuned in. And that got me even more excited, even though the choice was more of an investment for me. And that's where I started to get into my ego mind and say, well, that wasn't what I expected. What do I want to do with that? So I dropped back in and said, if I chose choice number 2, how would that feel? So this, can you sense this back and forth game that we can, not game, but opportunity we have to tune in, think through it, tune back in. And I think that's that cyclical process that's so powerful. And so by the time I made the decision and the investment, I was really clear with both minds. I was able to use some logic and math to figure out whether the return on my investment was going to make sense. And I was able to tune in and know that part of the return on my investment is this excitement and the excitement of the person on the other end. And that in and of itself, and I set the intention when I said yes, that co-creating energy, that magic would be possible. And that's going to drive this forward. So, invitation to you, as you look at where you are in your business journey, wherever that is, what is it that's lighting you up? What is it that is you want to create? Where is it that you want to go? What might need to be re-engineered? And I really invite you to tune in to your own inner wisdom as you kind of assess the different parts and pieces of your business. What I've noticed for myself is the more that I am turned on by what I'm doing, the more that level of excitement is there, the more momentum's created. When I'm shooting myself, or I see my clients shooting themselves, the energy dips. And then I know we're not trusting our inner guidance, not trusting that inner wisdom. So tune in, tap in to what turns you on, to what your heart has to say as we move forward and move into Aries season. When the pace picks up, we're going to want to have that knowing of what it is we're getting our energy behind. We've got planets all direct right now. Powerful time to make progress, but focus progress, not too many things at one time. What's the one thing you want to move the meter on? What's the one thing you want to put your energy behind? And what's it going to give you? And so use the cosmic forces for your highest and best right now. It is a beautiful opportunity to align as we move forward. And lastly, before I pop off here and go find some scissors and contact paper to play with, is that still a thing, by the way? Tell me. Contact paper, what are you doing? My mom is. So, but before I hop off here, one last thing. I still have one spot for creating someone a full 12-month astrological forecast and roadmap. Super exciting. I'm super excited about this process. And so if that is something you think might interest you, it would be guidance, all the different planetary guidance, help you to map out where your motivation is going to be, where those spotlights are going to be for you in your energy. We align it with your goals. So I'm literally pulling in what times of the year are going to be supporting those goals you're working on. Drop a more info or some comment below, and I will reach out to you with all the details and we'll get that process going. It's a perfect time to drop in and invest in this kind of forecast for yourself and your business, just to have that roadmap, to have that guidance. It is so powerful to know when we're resting, when we're moving the meter forward, when we're in creation mode, when we're in action mode. Having that guidebook and then dropping your gifts into it, your offers, your excitement, is really something I'm super excited about supporting folks with on an even deeper level as I complete my certification and work on these projects. So would love to support you if that sounds like something exciting for you. So drop me a note and let me know. And in the meantime, as you revision, revise, realign with your heart mind, just remember all it takes is a little bit of heart power. And I will see you soon.